Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt, and I've spent the week with my favorite car. This is the best car in the world, but you probably know it as the Lexus LC500. It kind of has competitors like a Mercedes SL, maybe you could consider a 911 a competitor, though not really, and things like a Bentley Continental. But I still maintain that even since this thing came out 2018, this is my favorite car and one I look forward to every year. So let's talk about the pros and the cons. But before we get started, what's new for 2024? This car's been out for a while, so did they bring anything new for 2024? And the answer is yes. The huge improvement comes from a tech upgrade, and they fixed really the only issue that I had with the car, and it's the fact that the infotainment was kind of a bummer. But we'll go into that in more detail a little bit later. The car now has parking sensors standard, 21-inch wheels are now standard, even on non-convertibles, and you get new colors. The first is ultrasonic blue mica 2, which is a wild color, but even more wild is this new copper crest. Fascinating color. It changes dimension and looks like rose gold or even like blush pink at some lighting. And then you've got new interior colors. You can get a dark rose interior, but this white and blue interior used to be reserved for the Inspiration series, but now you can get it on your bespoke build. But now you can option an Inspiration series. You can get an LSD in the back as standard, a performance rear damper, 125 are made, and they're all polar surge satin white with blue interior. They look fantastic, but back to the video. Now the first thing, if you're one of those people, is that it's not as fast as rivals. But do you really care? Zero to 60 is still done in 4.4 seconds, which means it's just as fast as I need it to be. Now, I'm not one of those 0 to 60 people. I just love this car for what it is. But yes, technically, everything else is faster, sure. But everything else also has turbos, and it doesn't sound like this. And the simple fact is, because of some of those things, everything else is way more money. Mercedes SL, tens of thousands of more dollars. Porsche 911, although I don't know why we keep saying that a 911 is a competitor to this when it's really, really not. Entirely different philosophies on what a car should be. And then the BMW M850. And yes, faster does not have this character though. And the next thing is it's not exactly practical, but I don't know whoever told you that this thing was going to be practical. But anyway, the trunk in the coupe is 5.4 cubic feet, but it is even smaller here in the convertible, and it's about as small as the hybrid that we had in the coupe. It does fit my film backpack and my tripod and maybe another backpack back here, but that's going to be about it. And then there's the rear seats, which are woeful. They're a little bit bigger in the coupe body style, but the truth is they're kind of like 911 back seats or SL back seats, which means that they make sense for the segment. It's just you're not going to fit people with legs back there. And this piece has to do with just a few nitpicks, so hang with me. I mean, this is a Lexus, the luxury brand, right? And this is their Halo car, right? And this one is the bespoke build, so the top of the top. And yet you still don't have massage seats, you can't get heated and cooled cup holders, which is a little bit odd, and there's no power trunk. So like I said, nitpicks, but something that we have to mention because the competitors bring that stuff. But then when we switch gears and talk about all the best things about this car, my favorite thing about this car is this right here. Ready? It's the sound, it's the drama that you get from the 10-speed here. It's the reason that I have an issue with the IS500 and the RCF, the things with the 8-speed transmission. It's the crack that you get on the 10-speed here, the bellow and the scream that you get from the 5-liter naturally aspirated V8 with the Yamaha tuned exhaust, 471 horsepower from an NA V8, 398 pound-feet of torque. Sure, it gets 18 mpg, but I don't care. It sounds incredible, and the sound experience is the reason that I will one day own this car. That's a promise. And then I'm pleased to talk about the technology on the positive side of the video. This is the big change that they made for 2024, and it really fixes the only issue that I had with the car. And it's the fact that they've done away with the trackpad and now moved everything into the big Toyota connected screen. The software has been updated. You still get a head-up display. You still get that semi-digital gauge cluster that moves, but you have a huge center screen now running wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. All of it is the same technology stuff that we've seen in all the Toyota Lexuses that we've covered. You've got 360 camera. You still get your egg view. You've got over-the-air updates, and you even get Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 as standard. So you get loads of safety equipment, great new technology, it's easier to use, and it just makes sense. They've fixed the only problem with this car. So we've talked about the sound, the drama when you're on it, but we'll talk about the drive now just overall. It's not the fastest thing. Who cares? It's easily, though, the most comfortable and expensive feeling thing on the road. The ride is supple and actually comfortable. Mercedes SL. With the top down, you can get the wind deflector thing in the back, which basically, really dampens out the wind noise that you get from the cabin. But let's say it's not a beautiful day like it is today, you want the top up, and then it is genuinely quiet and Lexus-like inside. When you're in comfort or eco, it is just a Lexus then. It's comfortable, it's easy to steer, your visibility is excellent. I'm not being beat up by these terrible roads that I'm on right now, you couldn't even tell. But then when you switch into Sport and Sport Plus, you can get into the revs, and it is such an emotional car. This engine has a soul. The transmission is quick and doesn't get in the way like it does in the IS500 and the RCF and the old GSF. The LSD out back lets you have a lot of fun for a Lexus. The BMW will be a little bit more playful with the back end. But it's not like this thing feels slow. And there's nothing I don't love about the behind the wheel experience in this LC500. It's pretty perfect. And then when it comes to styling, it's not going to be a surprise because look at it. This is one of the most elegant and best looking cars that money can buy. It has been out since about 2018 or 19, but it is aged incredibly well. In terms of the shape, you have the really long hood and the incredibly Lexus face with the spindle grille. The 21-inch wheels are now standard, and these are the upgraded $40 wheels, which are definitely a must. Although, in my opinion, if you look at the profile, it's still coupe over convertible, I would say. But you get flared rear hips, your taillights have been upgraded and I guess kind of upgraded, but they have that 3D effect, and you get the dual exhaust with quad tips. But far away, one of the most special things that they brought for the styling for this year is this copper crest paint. Depending on where the sun is and what the lighting situation is doing in the atmosphere, it looks copper, it looks like a blush pink or like a rose gold. Really fascinating color. Now, I'm still personally a flare yellow guy, but this is a very, very cool color on a very special car. And then there's the overall cabin experience. It's so unique to this car. It doesn't share it with any other Lexus, and it's so opposite to what you see from the Germans, where every BMW interior is largely the same. Every Mercedes interior, Audi interior is basically the same. The materials here, the design, the build is impeccable. It's Lexus at its best. It's just spectacular. The door pulls and door cards are unique, bespoke. The dash design with the little drive mode horns is fun, and you get really, really nice detailing with this grab handle. It's very sturdy, there's no shake. You've got the new screen here that dons the dash that really cleans up the only clunky experience to the interior of this car. And just to top it all off, the convertible controls are about as classily hidden as they could be. And then when we start to talk about price, that's a big pro for this LC500. Now for this year, it starts at $99,800 for the Coupe V8, which is the one that I would get, by the way, again. The convertible here starts at $105,000, but this is the bespoke build, as we've talked about, and that adds another $5,500 and opens up a few more options. So even at the most money that you can spend on an LC500, it's far cheaper than the SL, and you can forget about the 911. So again, it kind of comes down between this and the BMW M850, but again, this is so much more unique, so much more bespoke, and so much more luxury feeling, and you still get plenty of character and enough performance here. And it wouldn't be a Lexus video without talking about the luxuries that you get. For one, this interior is super comfy, and it does feel like it molds around my body and cocoons me in a way that I just don't get from the Germans. You've got incredible materials. The leather work here is incredible. The door card detailing is incredible. These door handles are amazing. We talked about the fact that you don't get massage seats, but they are heated and cooled. You get a heated steering wheel, and you can option an air scarf for your convertible tops here. And one of the concerns with a ragtop convertible is the fact that when you have the top up and you're driving down the highway, you're going to get a lot of wind and road noise coming into the cabin, but it's just not true. It's not the case here. I don't know what they've done to that top, but it's It's still Lexus quiet in here with the top up. But before we wrap, there's a couple odds and ends that we should cover. Like for one, the convertible top is black. It's a rag top. You can get it a couple different colors. It goes down in 15 seconds and it goes up in 16 seconds. And then it'll work up to 31 miles an hour. And of course, you've got an all window up and down button to make things easier. You can also option an air scarf for your convertibles, which will blow warm air to keep you nice and warm. And you've got your seating control buttons and climate concierge, so it'll detect based on the exterior environment whether you should have your heated seat on, your cooled seat on, and by how much. So that is the best and the rest of the Lexus LC500, and I hope I conveyed why I love this car so much. The styling is striking, the interior is top class, basically Rolls-Royce level, and all the character that comes from the engine and the exhaust. And it still manages to ride incredibly well. So that's why I love this car. That's why this is the best car in the world. So leave it down in the comments what you think of the LC500. Thank you to Lexus for letting us have a go. Thank you to you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.